Hey Internet, Eric here. I'm going to take a little bit of a break from the Child's Play series again on my channel, and I'm going to go back to Haddonfield. I finally sat down, or I finally got myself a copy, finally sat down and watched, and now I'm going to finally sit down and discuss. I'm a little behind Halloween. And by Halloween, I mean Halloween 2018, because we now live in a world where there's 3 films involving Michael Myers just named Halloween. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. I do discuss plot spoilers and specific scenes, and since this one just came out last year, 2018, and to to give my honest opinion on this one, I'm gonna have some spoilers big time on some major things, so watch at your own risk. You have been warned. If you have not seen Halloween 2018 and you're watching this, you have no one to blame but yourself if I spoil something. Basic plot. This is, we are forgetting every fucking thing that happened after the first one from 1978. So nothing about Jamie Lloyd is here. The Rob Zombie remakes are obviously not here. Busta Rhymes is gone. Anything involving Laurie Strode after the first film is gone. Goodbye Halloween H2O, goodbye Halloween Resurrection, goodbye Halloween 2 where she's running away, the direct sequel where she's running away from Michael in the hospital. Gone. This is like an alternate universe, alternate timeline, whatever. It is now 40 years after. We are following Laurie Strode, and she is living a life of a woman with PTSD due to the events of the first film. She's basically a hermit, but she's living a life also of preparation, just in case Michael does break out of Smith Grove Sanitarium. She'll be ready for him. And of course, Michael is getting transferred from Smith Grove to some other facility, and the bus crashes. He gets out, makes his way back to Haddonfield, and they clash. This film. A, I'm doing this to finish my retrospective series on this channel, and B, a couple buddies of mine, Bronco Juggalo from Bronco Juggalo Talks Movies, and Jay from his 2 JV TV channels. They want to know my honest opinion of this, and they both know, along with people who have been following this channel, know that I had no interest in seeing this film because of the alternate timeline thing. It's been done to death, and it was done 20 years ago with Halloween H2O. And then Jay even said in one of his recent videos, I think it was one of his live streams, he was talking to me. He says, "Oh, here's Eric's opinion on Halloween." Well, I'll say this: it's better than a lot better than I expected. But boy, do I have some problems. Okay, first off, Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis is great in this film. I love seeing her deal with her PTSD. I love her. I love how she's now living a life on a compound. You know, she's preparing. She's trained herself with firearms. She's paranoid as hell, and I love the fact that she's. This has caused her relationship with her family to go down the toilet. We find out that she lost custody of her daughter at a very young age, when her daughter was very young, because she was also preparing her daughter for this. You know, there's a couple scenes where her daughter is very young and she's shooting firearms. And, you know, she's not allowed to see her granddaughter, and she is just living a life of solitude. And she's a broken woman, and she's a recovering alcoholic, and she's fallen off the wagon because there's a scene where she goes to dinner with her family, and she guzzles a glass of wine in front of them, and they're like, "I thought you were clean and sober," this and that. There's some scenes where she breaks down, and she's really good. But then there's the scenes where she has to be the strong woman, and I buy it. When she's the protector, it's really good when she's confronting Michael. There's no over-the-top being scared. Like in my review of the first one, where she would, you know, when she's, you know, oh, she's doing I call them turkey noises. She's not annoying when she's terrified of Michael. She's really good. I really like her performance. Michael's back to being scary. Well, I love Tyler Mane. Still think Tyler Mane was great. But, not counting the Rob Zombie films, Michael was a joke the last time we saw him in this original timeline with Halloween Resurrection. I mean, he got his ass kicked by Busta Rhymes. Even though I gave Resurrection a passable, not really recommendation, but a passable discussion, Michael was a joke in that film. He's back to being good here. I like how, you know, he's brutal. He's still quiet. Pulls no punches. His kills are great. I like what they do with this. Like his first two kills, he doesn't wear his mask. You know, it's cool to see he is just a normal man. There's no supernatural element to Michael here. And I really like that, and that's what makes him even more scary. He's just an old bearded dude with white hair fucking people up, and I like that. I like how what they do is he, you know, the bus crashes, makes his way back to Haddonfield, of course, and he's not pursuing necessarily Laurie Strode, because they point out that the whole brother-sister thing was something created by the media, whatever. So Michael just goes home, and this is just my take on it, he's killing random people because he's just psychotic. And whoever gets in his way, he's taking out, and then he just happens upon Laurie Strode, because after 40 years, would he still remember what she looked like? I don't know, but I like that aspect of him as well. Mask looks great still, you know, it looks like the original mask. Love it. Like I said, the kills are good. There's some, you know, there's some dead bodies we see. I liked when he took out the reporter, one of the reporters in the bathroom, the female. That was a good scene. The fat kid impaled on the gate. That was really good. Yeah, so Michael was and the gore was really good. We get a head crush with you know, a head stomp or a curb stomp, whatever you want to call it, reminiscent to me of Rob Zombie's H2. That was one of my favorite Michael kills, and it's gory as hell in this one. So the gore is good. Michael's brutal. It's great. John Carpenter does his score. Fantastic. He takes his original score from the original movie, and then I think I watched one of the bonus features. His son and someone else helps him with it, and they take the simplistic score, like, because the original Halloween score is in it, but then they take that and they twist it around, and they add some striking chords to it, and it's really intense. It's really good. And then just the other, you know, notes that they throw in, not just of with the original Halloween score. It's fantastic. The score is top notch. It's badass. It's better than it is in the original. I said in the original, or my review in the original film, the movie is good, but without John Carpenter's score, the original Halloween would probably be kind of boring. The score here really helps the intensity. It helps not really helps make it scary, but you're on the edge of your seat. It works perfectly. It flows great. Every scene the score is in is fantastic. Home run with the score in this film. I like the opening sequence. I like how the opening credits are in the same font as the original Halloween. That's a really cool nod. And some of the nods to the original, to the series in general, are cool. I like how some of the trick-or-treaters have the silver shamrock masks. That's neat. I like the opening sequence. Or you know how for a lot of the films we had just the pumpkin, you know, with the candle in it, and it was Halloween and then the credits. Well, this we have a smashed pumpkin and it just reforms. That's really cool. The look of this film is really good. Yeah. And of course, Artie from I almost shit my pants. Artie, the strongest man in the world from The Adventures of Pete and Pete, is in this movie as the Jamie Lee Curtis's son-in-law. And some of the characters I liked. I liked the daughter was fine. Jamie's daughter was fine. Her granddaughter was fine. I liked the cop. The cop played by, I can't think of the actor's name, but he was in Armageddon, and he was in I knew what he was in. Well, he's one of the guys. He's one of Bruce Willis's guys in Armageddon. And he's in something else, which I know. Oh, The Punisher, with Thomas Jane and John Travolta. He was John Travolta's second in command. He plays a cop. He plays the cop that was the one who apprehended Michael after the original movie ended. I really liked his character, as short as he was in this film. So there are some really good positives, but the negatives, man, the negatives really grate my balls in this one. First off, the characters that I haven't already mentioned really fucking suck. The granddaughter's friends, like you got the asshole boyfriend, no one likes him, and he's just annoying. You got the fat kid, or the fat friend of the boyfriend who makes a move on the granddaughter, and his dialogue is god awful. I like the scene where he's in front of the house and like the spotlights go on. That's creepy. But his whole dialogue about how after he made the moves on his daughter or on the granddaughter, and he says just don't leave me here with a boner, and I can't control myself, this and that. That's stupid. And that kind of reeks of the Judd Apatow stuff, because Danny McBride, who works with Judd Apatow, he's one of the co-writers in this, and that's just him shining through, and I fucking hated that. I didn't like that character. I said I liked the cop character who apprehended Michael. That failed. That was a good chance of this is the guy that apprehended Michael. He stopped Dr. Loomis from shooting and killing Michael. Use that. No, they drop a line and then they go nowhere with it, and then that cop is taken out. And that's just like I didn't expect him to live, but you could have made a bigger deal about the fact that he's the one that apprehended Michael. So that failed. Let's get to Laurie Strode. I said how Laurie Strode is living the life on a compound, and she's preparing for Michael. I'm okay with her somewhat learning how to use a rifle and all these weapons, but goddamn, she was like fucking Sarah Connor, and I hated that. I hated everything to deal with her house. You know, she's got an answer for everything. First, because here it is. She's got a trap door under her kitchen counter that if she hits a button, it opens up, and there's the storm cellar. And then she goes down there, and she's got this stockpile of weapons. I don't think they're semi-automatic, but you got shotguns everywhere, this and that. Where the fuck did she get the money? Where did she... Anyway, she's got all that. So she got an arsenal in the basement under that trap door. And then, like, it's an intense scene where she's going from room to room trying to find where Michael is, and that's all great. But then every time she scopes out a room and there's nothing there, she hits a button, and this door comes down and latches shut. It's just overkill. Is she fucking MacGyver? Who did she get to build this? Did she build it herself? Again, where'd she get the fucking money? And it just happened every single time she hit a button and the door came down. I groaned. And what was even worse, the worst offense when it comes to her house was this. It's the end scene, and we know Michael's gonna end up in the fucking basement because we see them go down in the basement, and we see them focus on that trap door under the cabinet or under the countertop millions of times. So Michael finally gets knocked down there, okay? And he's gonna make his way up, and of course she hits a button, and we're looking up like this, and we see the doorway, or just the hole in the floor, so you can crawl down, and these fucking spikes come across, blocking Michael. How the fuck did she get that made? And that's too much for me. And then, major spoiler, I already warned you, she defeats Michael by setting the house on fire. Okay. So what she does is she does something. I don't fucking remember because I was groaning at this point. She does something where gas is released, and every single room in her house has these pipes where gas is flowing out of it. She throws a road flare down there to set the house ablaze. By this moment, I was thinking Laurie Strode went from like MacGyver to like Kevin McAllister from fucking Home Alone, and I just couldn't handle it, and it just turned me off so much. And then Michael burns to death, I guess, in an homage to Part Two, even though they're fucking forgetting Part Two. And then they get in the back of a pickup truck and drive away. Lame ass fucking ending too. And then what really got me is I liked how they mentioned that Dr. Loomis is dead because Donald Pleasance died in, I think it was 96 when Halloween 6 came out. I could be wrong on the year, I don't remember. In that time frame. And got a new doctor. This is a major spoiler too. And we find out that this doctor is obsessed with why Michael is the way he is, type of thing. And makes it seem like maybe he caused the bus accident because he wanted to follow Michael to make sure he got to the new sanitarium safely. And then after Michael was hit by a car by the cop that arrested Michael initially and the doctor turns on the cop, stabs him, kills him, which I did not see coming. My wife didn't see it coming. We're like, holy shit. And I'm like, this is going to be great. And then he goes down by Michael's body and he puts on the mask and like, this is going to be an awesome twist. I don't know if Michael's dead at this moment. Is the doctor going to take over for what Michael was doing? And the doctor takes the granddaughter hostage, and there's a really intense scene where he's driving and she's in the back seat with an unmasked, unconscious Michael Myers. And then, of course, Michael breaks out after the doctor's kind of given his like James Bond villain speech type of thing. Breaks out, kills the doctor. All within maybe 5 minutes. So this reveal, this twist, what a twist! Thing where the doctor is also a villain is just flushed down the toilet within 5 minutes. Wasted opportunity, and I'm just groaning here. I'm just like, oh, was it just thrown in there just to add another 5 minutes of runtime? So disappointing. Oh, so. Oh, and another thing that bugged me. First off, the movie starts, we're following these two reporters, right? And they're at Smith's Grove, and it's kind of an intense scene. They make their way through Smith's Grove, and it's a man and a woman, and they're in the yard. I guess it's exercise time or whatever time that they get to stand outside, get their fresh air, and you see all the crazy people. They're all chained to like cement blocks. And you got random crazy people, and they're doing the crazy thing that they always do in the movies, like giggling and, scratching themselves and rocking back and forth, the stereotypical stuff. It wasn't as bad as the trailer made it seem. And then they walk up to Michael, and Michael's just not paying any attention. I do like how Michael's eye is still fucked up from like the first film. But these people are trying to get a response to Michael. And the man pulls out Michael's mask. He somehow got a hold of the mask, the original mask from the murders. And he yells at Michael. He says, "Michael, look at it, this and that." It's a really intense scene. But the fact that these people aren't reporters, they're just fucking podcasters. Podcasters. How the fuck did the podcaster get a hold of Michael's mask? And why should we give a shit about two podcasters going and seeing Michael? That might just be me nitpicking, but whatever. That was dumb. Just making him a podcaster. Make him a reporter. Make him something more important than someone doing a show for free on the radio or on the internet. That was just lame to me. But overall, is this meh like JV thought I would say? No. Halloween 2018 was a lot better than I was expecting, but I will not blow it like everyone is doing on the internet. This is not the best Halloween sequel. Like, who is it? I can't read this. The Nerdist. Hands down, the best Halloween sequel ever. No. My favorite movie is still Halloween 4. Is this? Oh, fuck yeah! It's better than 5. It's better than 6. It's better than H2O. It's better than most of them. It's better than Halloween 2. It's better than Rob Zombie's first Halloween. I like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 a lot. But not worth the hype. I don't do rankings. I don't know where I would put it. It may be more higher than the most of them, maybe top 4. But God, what I liked was great. Jamie Lee Curtis, the score, Michael himself, some of the nods. Oh, that's another thing that kind of annoyed me. The nods to the other films were kind of overkill. Like I said, make it fucking subtle. The Silver Shamrock kids, them walking around trick-or-treating, that was a subtle nod. I like the nod to part 2 where Michael kills the person to get, he kills the person in the kitchen to get the kitchen knife. Very subtle. But goddamn, how many times do we have to see Laurie's, or we had to see Laurie's granddaughter looking outside her classroom window, and she sees Laurie standing there, just like Laurie looked out and saw Michael standing there in the original. Or how Laurie looked off the balcony to see, or no, Michael stabs Laurie and she's thrown over the balcony, and then he looks over to see her and she's gone, or some shit like that. I don't fucking know. I was groaning by this because it was it was right after the Home Alone stuff. Anyways, I've rambled enough. Halloween 2018. Better than I expected, but not as great as everyone's saying. Yeah, I'm not going to lick its balls like everyone's telling me to. So there you go. You can put that on the poster. Better than part 5. I'll say that. No, that's not that bad, but good but not great. We'll say that. Halloween 2018. Good but not great. All right, that's it. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Click the bell. Comment below. Tell me what you want me to discuss after I'm done with other series or whatever. I've rambled enough. Thinking about her fucking house is just rotting my brain again. I just don't want to think about it. Anyways, cheers, and I can't even think of a fucking quote for the movie, so I'm just going to say Happy Halloween. Fuck it.